everyone. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm going to give it a couple of minutes until we start. I'm just going to ensure I'm on the right place. Oops. And you guys can see me. Perfect. All right. I can be heard. All right. Let me get everyone in and then we'll begin. Oops. All right. All right, perfect. How have you guys been doing and how has everything been? How has October been for you guys? The energies lately have been a little bit more, it's been calmer, certainly. It has also been very interesting with everything that's happening globally, galactically, with all the energetic shifts that's coming, and and the full moon that is set to come on the 6th of October is also a very, very special one. So let me just see, right. All right. Um, All right, I see more of you guys coming in. All right, perfect. Hello, Karen. Okay, have a good day. Enjoy the live music. But yes, this topic I know many of you guys are excited about. Every time we talk about our beloved divine masculines, there's always a much larger crowd. So lovely, lovely, lovely. As I was saying, this upcoming full moon is a super moon, is the harvest moon. So it's all about abundance, gratitude, shifts like never before. So set the intention. Monday is going to be a powerful, powerful, powerful day. This full moon is meant to, truly, truly stir you in the right direction. So remember, be sovereign always. All right, exercise your sovereignty always, always, always. So with that, I'm going to talk about the energies a little, and then we're going to delve right into topic. All right, let me just adjust the temperature of the room, and then all right, so what to look forward to? So two major events are happening. We have the harvest moon, and then we have the 1010 galactic portal on the 10th of October. So I've got healings for that day. So again, guys, get in early so that you can get the time slot of your choice. A very highly, highly recommended 1010 portal healing and activations, and you can book through the link in the description. All right, with that, if you guys want to work one on one with me, you can book via my website via the link in description, and all my sessions are conducted via video call live. All right, with that, what to look forward to? So with all the retrogrades at its peak right now, you would be noticing, especially with Uranus in Gemini, and with you know you may be witnessing a lot of technological glitches lately. You may feel like you're trying to save something, it's not saving. There's a lot of, your printer might not be working. So it's not Mercury retrograde, but yet you're probably thinking what's going on. So, number one, a lot of changes are happening to Mother Earth herself. Technologically, there are a lot of shifts, a lot of advancements going on. So that can have a direct effect on our technological devices, also on our energy fields as well. Having said that, the upcoming week is going to really, the theme is about freedom. It's about honoring yourself, being a sovereign being. All right. And this is what's going to strengthen the connection deeper with your divine masculine. Saturn retrograde has been playing a huge role in that aspect, a huge role that is Divine masculines have truly spent a lot of time trying to decipher this journey, trying to understand this journey, and in other words, trying to figure out this journey as well. So, in a way, what is going on energetically is there's this deep introspection that is happening, in which you are starting to open up many doors of solutions that has been within you all along. So a part of you is that soul remembrance is coming to a point where you're starting to have a deeper sense of understanding on what life is, So in a way, it's like you're going through these periods of awakenings, mini awakenings, major awakenings. So that's why this time round with this full moon, truly, you don't even have to set an intention. Just be in your freedom, be sovereign, be in freedom, be in gratitude, be in flow. Just connect to your divine masculine in any way you wish to, because our divine husband, we are always connected to our divine masculine slash divine husband slash twin flame, always. So irregardless of space, time, physicality, the connection only gets stronger, always. So with that, what to look forward to in terms of awakening, in terms of energetically, you will be receiving more downloads, because we have, again, the full moon building up to the 1010 galactic portal as well. So you would feel like you're waking up feeling more inspired, feeling more energetic shifts within you. So it's all headed in the right direction. All right, with that, I'm going to delve right into topic. I'm going to see. All right, perfect. Oh, I've got more comments coming in. All right. Hi, Karishma. All right. How do we get the link for tip again? All right. You can just send me a tip through my PayPal. It is in the description there. It's the same PayPal. So for those of you who have been with me, you will know you can just send any amount, and then I'll put you on the list, and you can write a question when you sending me the tip as well. So that's how so it's the same PayPal. I only have one PayPal. So yeah. So hi Nimith, so good to see you. Truly happy to have you, Karishma. Yes, I've had a beautiful week. I hope you have had a beautiful week. And always, you're about to start driving. And hello, Nicole. Lovely to see you. And Nicole says hello to everyone. All right, with that, are you guys excited about today's topic? I certainly am. Last night I was cracking my head over what topic I should do. And then I realized, oh, this is a topic that I haven't touched on in a long, not in a while, but something that I felt, perhaps I should. Anything with regards to our divine masculine is always fun, right? All right, then. So let's go straight into one of the most deepest, most misunderstood, most the most misunderstood parts of the twin flame journey. The moment when love starts to feel like rejection, back, right, center, every direction you turn, all we experience is our divine masculine's rejection. When he pulls away, goes silent, acts cold, and you think, of course, right, we immediately think he doesn't care. And if we don't think he doesn't care, of course, the 3D, 4D mind is going to be like, what's wrong with you? But the truth is, what we are witnessing is not rejection, it's collapse. Specifically, a shame collapse. All right? This is the part of the journey that almost no one explains properly, because it sits right on the intersection of trauma, ego defense, soul alchemy, and a bit of psychology. So tonight I'm going to unpack what's really happening inside our beloved divine masculine when he rejects, goes, and avoids us, and blocks, and lashes out. And how this collapse is actually a sacred initiation for the both of you. All right, so let's start with this. All right, shame. Shame is one of the most paralyzing emotional states a human can experience, right? A human, a star seed, a twin flame in a human body can experience. So guilt says, I did something wrong. Shame says, I am wrong. And for most men, that is their deepest, most feared emotion because society told men from the beginning, don't cry, don't be weak, don't need. So what happens when a man meets a woman who sees straight through him, who sees the little boy behind the armor, who mirrors his soul? His system panics. His heart opens, right? Then immediately shuts down. And what you experience as distance or rejection is his nervous system literally going into freeze. So, this is the shame collapse. It is the psychological drop. The heart slows, the voice disappears, eyes avoid contact, his body says, too much exposure, shut it down before everything ends, before I die. So that's what his body is saying. So let's take a moment here, right? This is literally what's happening to his body. Psychologically, everything is shifting. Everything. See, that's why there's panic, systematic panic there. So, this is when the ego comes in. When our beloved divine masculine collapses, he feels powerless. So that's why ego defense and the rejection reflex hand in hand. So to survive that, the ego steps in and says, no, 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 I'm not weak, I'm in control. And that's when our divine masculine goes on the bandwagon of rejecting us, right? Because literally, that's the only way he can flip the narrative to regain power. That's where the words, I'm not interested, or, some divine masculines are kinder, they say, you deserve better, come from. But they both hurt equally. So it's not the truth. It's ego shock management. It's the desperate attempt to restore identity. Energetically, he's saying, if I can push her away, I won't have to feel the terror of being truly seen. That's why his rejection feels so contradictory. And that's what we read, right? We read the energies. Because his heart says yes, but his ego says survive. So, in the twin flame dynamics, our light becomes the mirror. So our divine masculine doesn't just see us, he sees himself through us. And that's unbearable when he hasn't learned to love what he sees. So he attacks the mirror. He calls it too much, too intense, too emotional. He tries to convince himself that we are the problem because he can't face the reflection. That's not cruelty, guys. That's fragmentation. It's the psyche trying to protect itself from collapse by projecting the discomfort outward. And as the divine feminine, we feel betrayed. But really, it's an ego injury, not a conscious choice, that our divine masculine makes to cause harm. So let's zoom out for a moment. Let's look at the lineage of male shame. Male shame isn't born in our connection. It's ancestral. It's passed down from fathers who were never allowed to cry, from teachers who ridiculed emotion, from mothers who couldn't hold their son's vulnerability. When divine love shows up, it reactivates all those buried memories. The body remembers every time he was told he wasn't enough, and suddenly the old shame fuses with the present. So that's why our love can feel unsafe, because for the first time, our divine masculine can't perform his way into worth. He has to receive it raw, and that terrifies him. And after the collapse comes the control phase, the collapse control loop. You will see suddenly the karmic distractions. Terrible friends. Usually it's the guy friends. That's why when men say they're going on retreat, it's always a red flag. Like a lot of sometimes my colleagues would like tell me, hey, they had just come out of a all male retreat, or like how they are having those male centered like meetings with just men. It's great, it's brotherhood, just like how women we have sisterhood, how we have our divine feminine sisterhood, and etc. But when men gather, you don't know what's happening. All right, you see, when women, we gather, it's peaceful, at least, hopefully. But with men, the first thing they are, you should not let your divine feminine do this to you. Why are you spending all your time with this person? Like, what's wrong with you? She's trying to do something to you, she's trying to put a spell on you. That's what they will say. And our divine masculine will fall for it. When we're actually doing nothing, we're just sitting here and totally collapsing. And spells don't work in a twin flame journeys. It's so dumb of the divine masculine to think that any other force can come in and try to. You see, it doesn't work. Really, it doesn't work. So the divine masculine thinks he's thinking about us divine feminines all the time, because the divine feminine put a spell on. It doesn't work that way. This connection is historical. When we are born out of the same cosmic egg as divine feminine and divine masculine, it takes nothing. We are always connected to one another. It's the way it is. When our soul is split into two, that one half is always going to look for the other half. So thinking about the divine feminine all the time is a natural state. But the divine masculine has to listen to the friends, to the guy friends, part of the men, whatever, through clubbing. So that the guy friends are very smart. They are like, oh, divine masculine, you should forget your divine feminine, push her away as crazy. Don't ever see her. Embarrass her if you can, so that she will never come to you. Say, block her. Say things like you are not interested. Say things like what's wrong with you. Insult her, embarrass her. And your DM is not actually under the spell of, he thinks it's you, right? The divine family. He's actually under the spell of the friend. And it will take many years for him to realize that the friend is the one who has put a spell on him. Because all of a sudden, he's always with that group of friends. He's traveling, he's partying, he's clubbing, to the point his work gets affected, his life gets affected. His bosses give him warning. Hey, what's wrong with you? You were normal. You were actually going upwards when the divine feminine was there inspiring you. And when the negative NPC, toxic, draconian friends start coming in, that's when divine masculines start losing their job under the cover of, oh, they're retiring early, or they start, if they're retiring early, why are they looking for the same job again? You see. But then slowly, these karmic distractions. So, in some cases where the divine masculine doesn't have another, like category one, like a specific person, like a romantic karmic connection, then it will be friends. It could be just other people. The noise in the field. That's why you will see. So that's why you will see your divine masculine seeking karmic distractions, another person, more work, obsessive routines. Why? Because he's trying to reinflate the self that love just dismantled. He can't yet face the void your presence opens, so he feels it. But no amount of distraction will ever replicate the frequency of being seen by the one by us, by the one who carries his miracle. So no amount of partying or drinking or suppressing. In fact, can he stop the dreams? So he feels it. But no amount of distractions can ever stop that. So that's why years later, he still watches, he still watches you from afar. He still tries to see what you're doing on the internet, or tries to you might not have posted anything, but this is the kind of guy who would block you on Facebook and through somebody else's account obsessively looking at your Facebook account every single day, or watching where you're going in your career, or constantly being obsessed, thinking that as the divine feminines we won't know. See, divine masculines really look at us like we are a girl, like when they don't understand that we are women, not girls. And they think that they can go around lying that they are not interested. They can go around blocking. They can go around saying things and then crying in the bag, in the bag crying himself to sleep, saying that, oh, I did the right thing. That he did what he had to do, to push her away so that she will go towards a brighter future. He's no martyr. No one is a martyr in the twin flame journey. Right? So that's why. That's why years later, he will check your feel. He will dream of you, because the body never forgets the one who mirrored its original innocence. So, what is our task? What is our role as the divine feminine? Now, here's where your mastery comes in. Our role is not to fix the collapse, it's to depersonalize it. You triggered an archetypical initiation, not a personal rejection, right? This isn't about you being unworthy. This is about the divine masculine being forced to face his own shadow. So instead of spiraling into why he doesn't love me, shift into his system cannot yet hold the frequency. And our job as the divine feminine is to stabilize our own field. So that's how we turn pain into productivity, power, personal power. That's how we evolve from the wounded lover to the energetic stabilizer of the union field. So, what is the healing trajectory for our beloved divine masculine? So, when he finally begins to face his shame, he goes through stages. Recognition. He realizes his avoidance wasn't strength, it was fear. Right? Number 2, regret. He begins to feel the loss, the ache, the weight of what he ran from. Number 3, recontact. Not always physical, but energetic. He starts reaching out through dreams, through the third energy, telepathically, even subtle synchronicities. And number 4, reconstruction. He learns to hold love without performance. You see, it's not always about us performing, It's our divine masculine performing too. Him lashing out, him saying, I'm not interested, him, being hot and cold, that is performing too. That's when devotion is born. When he goes through recognition, regret, recontact, and reconstruction. Because only a divine masculine who has met his shame can truly love without defense. All right. So, what is the higher purpose of the collapse? And before that, how do we integrate this? Breathe, move your body, reframe every time your mind says, he said, I'm not interested, he rejected me, he blocked me. Just reframe, he collapsed into shame. Keep boundaries from compassion, not anger. Anchor into the third energy field all the time, guys. I keep telling you guys all the time. The unified frequency, that's the unified frequency that exists between you and your divine masculine. And these are not coping mechanisms. I'm telling you, it's not. This keeps our field coherent, even in separation. So, on a macro perspective, our divine masculine's shame, collapse is his masculine initiation into humility. So all that ego, all that partying, all that splurging, all that whatever he's trying to do, just because, suddenly after meeting his divine feminine, suddenly he gets an upgrade in his life, you know and suddenly he gets a promotion at work and he starts living the high life. He doesn't mean he needs to choose the life of ego. He could choose the life of humility, instead of treating people, using people. That's what the divine masculine does, right? When he starts using his divine feminine, he echoes that to the world. So he starts treating his colleagues poorly. He starts treating his co-workers not the way he used to. So something changes, right? But it all crashes. It's the fall from ego control into soul surrender. That's when the true transition happens. So our heartbreak is the womb of that initiation, because through us, our divine masculine learns the difference between love and validation. So instead of seeing his silence as punishment, truly see it as something more. Our divine masculine is learning what we already know, that intimacy doesn't kill, it transforms. Union doesn't happen when shame disappears. It happens when both of us can stay open while feeling it. So the next time you hear "I'm not interested, you deserve better," or face silence, or you're blocked, pause, breathe, remember he didn't reject you. He collapsed into the oldest wound of any man, the fear of being loved in his nakedness. Energetic nakedness, guys, not please, please, please don't 3D things. And if you can hold your field steady without chasing, without closing, you will find that love hasn't gone anywhere. It's just learning how to stay. So, at this point, I want to rebuild. I want to go into the second part. The first part, we have talked about why rejection isn't really rejection. It's the collapse of our beloved divine masculine's nervous system, right? Under the weight of exposure and shame. But awareness is only half the work. We are going to go deeper into the rebuild phase. What happens after the collapse and how our stability either accelerates or delays his return to the field. Because if part one was the anatomy of the fall, part two is like the architecture of the rise. So, what happens? The post collapse void. So, after a shame collapse, our divine masculine doesn't bounce back overnight. It doesn't. It's impossible. He enters a void period. This is like a psychological flatline. Externally, you will see apathy, distraction, even denial. That's when all the partying photos, all the, oh, he's doing really well, he's on top of the world, ego defense kind of arrogance would be coming in true, but internally, the system is rebooting. It's like a hard drive crash after overheating. The ego has lost its operating system. Performance, control, status. But the new software is vulnerability and presence. That hasn't been fully installed yet. So you really have to look at it like a hard drive. That's why our divine masculine often sees emotionless, like he has no emotions. It's not that he doesn't feel, it's just that he's numbed by the overload. So our job in this stage is not to fill the void with contact or reassurance. Oh, dear divine masculine, it's okay, you can be a person who's like that. Our job is to hold the frequency of coherence, so that when our divine masculine is ready, the field feels safe to reconnect. So, how do divine masculines shame transform internally? When the body finally starts to regulate again, shame begins to morph. It moves from collapse to reflection. Stage 1, he reviews the interaction in mental loops. Why did I say that? Why did I run? Why did I hurt her? Why did I embarrass her in public? Why did I behave that way? Why did I say that? Why did I block her on Facebook? Why did I humiliate her? Why did I do that? I can go on the list and list and list. Stage 2. He starts to feel instead of think. That's when the grief surfaces. Stage 3. He touches humility, realizing the woman he rejected was never the enemy, she was the mirror. That's when devotion seeds begin to form. Not the fantasy kind, the embodied kind that says he wants to show up differently because he wants to be worthy of this energy. But that seed can only sprout if he's not being psychically pulled back into old patterns of your anxiety. All right. So, I want to talk about the feminine trap, the rescue instinct. So, here's where many divine feminines lose their footing. As divine feminines, the tendency to feel the energetic silence and rush into rescue, we have all been there before. We send those long messages. Oh my God, the dreadful long messages. Truly, it's so embarrassing. The first thing you probably want to do is delete that. You don't even want to think about it anymore. The energetic burst, the check in. It does come from love. I'm not denying it. But it tells his nervous system that we are holding his regulation for him. And through that, our divine masculine learns nothing. If we want our divine masculine to evolve, we must let him sit in the dissonance of his own behavior. Let his body realize that love isn't gone. It's just not codependent anymore. That discomfort is what pushes him towards consciousness. So, what is this whole energetic synchronicities? How the field starts to call him back. When we stop chasing and start radiating, the field recognizes. The third energies begin to pulse again, softly, rhythmatically. That's when our divine masculine starts to dream of you, feel sudden waves of emotion, or sense deja vu moments. These aren't coincidences, they are quantum breadcrumbs leading him back to coherence. His higher self uses our stable frequency like a GPS, truly. So every time we choose neutrality instead of panic, we emit the signal love is safe here, and that's the real reunion work. Unseen, unspoken, vibrational. So, what is the masculine's path back to integrity? As our divine masculine re-enters the field, he doesn't return as the same man. He's dismantled, cautious but sincere. So there are 4 markers of genuine post-collapse healing. Number 1, ownership. He stops blaming and starts acknowledging. Number 2, transparency. He communicates without armor, even awkwardly. Number 3, steadiness. No grand gestures, just consistency. Number 4, devotion. A quiet wish to protect the connection, not perform it. If these traits start appearing, the shame has transmuted into reverence. That's when union moves from karmic to conscious. All right. So our side of the rebuild is equally crucial. as the female embodiment. We stay connected to our body, we keep our nervous system sovereign, and we just calm ourselves. Remember, we are not waiting, we are weaving. We are building the energetic architecture that is healed masculine can safely inhabit. So, all right. So remember, this pattern isn't just personal, it's collective, masculine, trauma clearing. When one divine masculine learns to stay open through shame, the template shifts for thousands of divine masculines. When one divine feminine refuses to collapse into self blame, we anchor a new archetype of divine feminine power. That's why our composure matters. It's not coolness, it's leadership. You are stabilizing the blueprint for how love survives exposure. For example, he has blocked you. Instead of going through another account and begging him for forgiveness, you just let go. He comes, he doesn't, he doesn't. So, these are some practical steps from both sides, right? For our divine masculine, space is required, accountability and embodiment practices. For us, boundary work, creative expression, gentle nervous system regulation. So for the field is intentional coherence, visualize the third energy expanding without attachment to the outcome. Treat this phase like sacred rehabilitation, not punishment. So when you find yourself wondering why hasn't he come back yet, remember, collapse recovery takes time. You planted a seed that will outlast avoidance. Shame was the soil, devotion is the bloom. That's why our divine masculine never rejected us. He faced the hardest mirror on earth and is learning to keep his eyes open. Our task is not to dim the light, it's to hold it steady until he can stand in it. That's how shame becomes service, that's how collapse becomes commitment. That's how separation becomes sacred union. So as we move on to the third part, I want you to take a moment. We have explored the shame, collapse, and the rebuild. Now we move into the return phase, the moment when the divine masculine begins to re enter the field. And as the divine feminine, we must decide whether we meet him with fear, pride, or embodied wisdom. So, as I was saying, as we move into the return phase, the moment when our divine masculine begins to re enter the field, and as the divine feminine, we must decide whether we want to meet him with fear, pride, or embodied wisdom. Because reunion isn't only about coming back, it's about whether the energy can stay coherent once contact is re established. So, when he starts to circle back, the subtle energy of his return, it won't always look dramatic. It might be a text, a random social media interaction. Rarely, the DM is going to like unblock you and send you a request again. That is like pushing it far. So it might be a nudge, a shared dream, or even a wave of emotion that you can't explain. These are early signals that his nervous system is testing safety. If you respond with overactivation too much too soon, he will feel the same energetic pressure that caused the collapse before. So this phase is about magnetism without demand. So what is the feminine aftermath? All right, we have changed, we have learned neutrality, self-regulation, and detachment. But when he reappears, the body remembers the wound. Old fears whisper, what if he hurts me again? What if this is temporary? That's normal. It means your system is checking whether the new boundaries hold. So instead of suppressing the fear, witness it. Say it to yourself, this is my body remembering, not my intuition warning. That single distinction keeps you anchored in truth instead of trauma. Trust after a collapse isn't restored through promises, it's built through pattern consistency. Watch the energy, not the words. Observe how he holds tension, conflict, and vulnerability now. Ask, does he stay present when discomfort arises? Can he self regulate instead of disappearing? If yes, that's real evolution. Your task is to mirror steadiness, neither cling nor test. Your calm nervous system becomes the new template for intimacy. So, the new magnetism isn't about performance or seduction, it's about authentic frequency. When you stay rooted in your truth, your field becomes gravitational. Our divine masculine feels drawn to our peace, not pursuit. So that's magnetism versus manipulation. Even subtle energetic baiting creates static in the field, but embodiment, that creates resonance. Remember, love doesn't need to chase, it needs to resonate. So please listen to these lines carefully. Manipulation, even subtle, is energetic baiting. It creates static in the field, but embodiment, it creates resonance. So love doesn't need to chase, it needs to resonate. So when he sends the first message or approaches you in person, don't rush to over explain what happened. Please, even though you may be tempted to do it, don't. Don't demand an apology to feel validated, really. Don't shrink into politeness to avoid tension. Instead, center your energy. Smile if it's genuine. Speak clearly. Keep your tone warm but grounded. You're showing him the connection is safe, but you're not the same woman he left. The silent confidence tells his nervous system that we can build again. You see, that's the whole point. So physical attraction may ignite fast because the collapse purged old density, but before engaging intimately or even energetically, cleanse the field. It's very important. After separation, communication becomes the new intimacy. Talk less about what went wrong and talk about what awareness emerged. Use I felt rather than you did. So example, you can say, I noticed I shut down when you withdrew instead of you ghosted me. This keeps the conversation vertical, soul to soul, instead of horizontal, ego to ego. Every reunion goes through a probationary phase. That's why stable union, I always call it stabilizing union, all right? Where the universe tests stability, small disagreements, scheduling conflicts, emotional triggers, these are calibration points. They are not signs, it's failing, it's falling. They are opportunities to practice coherence in real time. Response with breathing, not blame. Each test passed locks in a higher octave of union. So when he feels you trust again, once he senses that you trust yourself more than you fear loss, something shifts in him. His shame alchemizes into gratitude. He realizes that as the divine feminine, we didn't wait for him, we matured for him. That's the moment devotion activates, because now love is no longer about ego validation. It's about mutual reverence. So yeah, see, that's the beauty of it, right? It's the beauty of testing the field together, and also when our divine masculine feels that he can trust us again, he senses that we are trusting ourselves more than the fear of loss. That shifts something within him. He alchemizes it into gratitude. He realizes, so importantly, that we have matured for our divine masculine. And that's when the devotion activates. And that's what I wanted to emphasize on this again and again and again. So you can anchor union energy daily, from the morning grounding to midday check in to evening reflection. Small day coherence practices prevent regression into old dynamics. So, what is the collective perspective? Every time a divine feminine holds trust after betrayal, we rewire the collective nervous system for love. We are not just healing our relationship, we are shifting what divine masculines believe they have become. That's the quiet revolution of monadic twin flame union. One healed interaction at a time. So when he returns, and he will, remember, you're not recreating the past, you're co-authoring a new frequency. Reunion isn't a reward, it's responsibility. He no longer needs you to mother his shame, he needs you to mirror his divinity. Hold your boundaries like silk, soft but unbreakable. Let your peace be the invitation, not the proof. That's how trust rebuilds. That's how magnetism returns. That's how third energy stabilizes into devotion. So as we move on to the fourth part, and if you have made it here and not bought, it means you've already walked through the hardest parts. The collapse, the rebuild, the re-entry. Now comes the real mastery. Stabilizing union energy in daily life. Because union isn't a finish line. It's a field that must be maintained. And if you don't consciously stabilize, all polarity, chase, avoid, overgive, control will quietly resurface and start fragmenting the connection again. So, why does stabilization matter? In many monadic twin flame couples, we are prepared for separation, but not for togetherness. Because lifetime after lifetime, it's just being in separation, right? So togetherness in itself feels like a far-fetched dream. But the thing is, we've always been together prior to Earth, right? So you've spent months or years learning detachment, learning surrender, but not many people teach how to hold frequency. See, that's why I've dedicated my life discourses to my teachings. So I teach how to hold frequency once the physical closeness returns. That too from my experience. This is what, goes through. So what happens? So when we unite, but the field begins to wobble, suddenly tiny 3D triggers feel amplified. Old habits start sneaking back in. We start wondering, why does this feel hard again? It's not regression, guys. It's recalibration. Our nervous system is learning to operate in the new template of co-regulated love. So the myth of happily ever after moves. The myth says once he returns, everything flows. No, in spiritual truth and wisdom, when our divine masculine returns, the real work begins. Because now we must embody what we intellectually understood during separation: self-trust, emotional maturity, and energetic sovereignty. Union brings up everything separation didn't have time to heal. The contrast between our highest frequency and our daily human life becomes the new classroom. This is where love graduates from idealism to integration. So the three pillars of union stability. So let's anchor this into structure, right? Union stability depends on three pillars. Number one, coherence, shared nervous system safety. Number two, communication, transparent emotional processing. Number three, containment, boundaries that protect individuality inside togetherness. When even one pillar weakens, the energy becomes wobbly and karmic loops reappear. So let's break these down. Pillar 1, coherence. Coherence is the absence of energetic static between two hearts. It's when both bodies feel safe enough to stay open even during disagreement. So to maintain coherence, start each morning by syncing your breath together. Ground individually before sharing space. When one of you feels triggered, call a pause rather than reacting. Remember, reacting versus responding that I always teach about. This prevents energetic seesaw. The back and forth, one regulating for both in high frequency unions. Safety is the sexiest language you can speak, truly. In conscious union, communication isn't about fixing, it's about witnessing without distortion. Replace reactivity with curiosity. Instead of why are you like this, try what are you feeling right now. Instead of explaining your wound, name your need. The rule: clarity over catharsis. You're not venting pain. You're translating energy into words that build bridges, not walls. And when things get tense, remember your goal isn't to win the argument, it's to preserve the field. So, pillar three, containment. Containment means maintaining your individuality inside the union. Love doesn't mean fusion, it means interdependence. Schedule solo time. Keep creative projects alive that have nothing to do with your partner. This protects polarity, the healthy change that keeps desires alive. When both are fulfilled individually, union feels expensive instead of consuming. That's how you avoid spiritual codependence traps that many twin flame couples fall into after reunion. This is what causes the lack of stability. All right, so you cannot maintain coherence in a cluttered field. So clear your energy daily. Salt baths help. These are like field housekeeping. So what is the role of, again, I can't use the S word, so intimacy energy in stabilization. In union, intimacy energy becomes both amplifier and the teacher. When both are balanced, intimacy depends connection. When one is dysregulated, it magnifies chaos. So approach the S word consciously. Set intention before physical touch. Breathe through the heart, not just through the body. This keeps love making from becoming karmic recycling and transforms it into third energy creation. So that's why the role of love making in stabilization, the love making energies itself become both the amplifier and teacher. So, what is the feminine leadership principle? The feminine energies, our divine feminine energies, sets the baseline frequency, not because we are responsible for the connection, but because our nervous system is the tuning fork. When we stay anchored, our divine masculine's energy naturally harmonizes. When we overextend, he destabilizes. So, leadership here is energetic. It means embodying peace so consistently that chaos has nowhere to land. That's what turns love from emotional theater into divine architecture. So, when does polarity start to reverse? Sometimes after reunion, roles invert, you know. As the divine feminine, we may become avoidant, and our masculine may become a pursuer. So back in the day, I may be the one, always like cooking for him, but now he does it. You get what I mean? So that's normal. It's polarity rebalancing. It shows that both have integrated spaces, integrated aspects of the other. Instead of panicking, observe it. Ask, what is this teaching me about balance? So the goal isn't to freeze polarity, it's to let it dance without collapsing into fear. So, when union stabilizes, life stops being about the relationship itself. It becomes about mission embodiment. We start co creating, right? Teaching, building, serving together, not to prove our love, but to express it. Our relationship becomes a conduit for planetary healing. That's the mature stage of a monadic twin flame union. So, love as leadership, presence as prayer, partnership as planetary galactic service. So remember, union is not a static achievement, it's a dynamic ecosystem. Every day you feed it coherence or chaos, up to you. Every thought either stabilizes or fragments the field. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for regulation. Don't aim for intensity. Aim for consistency. Because true romance isn't in grand gestures. It's in staying emotionally regulated through life. That's how we stay together without losing ourselves. That's how divine union becomes normal, grounded, human, and sacred. So, let's get to the fifth part, alright? So, if you are here with me from collapse to return, from rebuild to stabilization, then this part is for you. Because what happens after the intensity ends? What does love actually feel when it stops being a lesson and starts being life? That's what I call sacred normal. The sacred normal. Normalcy. It's the quiet stage of union that almost nobody talks about. The one beyond drama, beyond the longing, beyond the triggers. It's not cinematic, but it's real. It's the point where the frequency of love stops needing proof and simply is. So, this is the end of the spiritual roller coaster. In the early stages, every emotion felt cosmic, every silence felt like death. Every union felt like rebirth, but when union stabilizes, our nervous system no longer confuses activation with connection. The highs and lows flatten into steady warmth. Peace becomes the new intensity. We stop analyzing signs because we live inside synchronicity itself. We don't chase the mirror anymore. We make up, we literally, I'm waking up to my divine masculine, and it's just calm. And this isn't the death of magic, it's the maturity of it, the real texture of sacred union. Yes, the truth. True union feels ordinary, but the ordinariness carries divinity. It's cooking dinner together. It's, learning from each other's culture while feeling energy move through our bodies. It's having a disagreement, but no longer fearing it means separation. It's silence that feels full, not empty. We still have human moments, bills, chores, schedules, but there's an invisible coherence underneath. It's as if our souls breathe the same air. There's no need to prove, to perform, or to fix. We have become each other's still point. So, what is the nervous system of union? In separation, our nervous systems were opposites, one anxious, one avoidant. In stabilized union, we co regulate unconsciously. When one feels off, the other adjusts. It's not psyche control, it's energetic companionship. This is when the third energy, the shared feel we've been building all along, becomes self sustaining. It no longer depends on contact or reassurance, it runs on coherence. And that's what makes love finally feel safe. So, at this stage, we no longer need the label. I'm not going around calling my divine masculine, hey, divine masculine, come here, I just call him my partner. That's how I introduce him to my friends in the outside world, right? My partner, my husband, that's how. We are not in the chaser runner anymore. We are just two humans who happen to share a cosmic soul field. Our conversation shift from us to mission. We start creating, teaching, serving, living. The relationship stops being a healing project and becomes a foundation for purpose. The paradox, we barely talk about the journey anymore because we've embodied it. So, what are the quiet miracles of daily life? This is where miracles look like everyday things. Waking up without anxiety, being able to disagree and still feel love, catching each other's eye and knowing what's being said without words, experiencing physical touch that feels like home and not escape. You stop wondering, is this forever? Because you finally live in now. You realize love never needed the future, it just needed presence. So the feminine's experience of the sacred normal, the sacred normalcy, for divine feminines at this stage can feel, you know, disorienting. After years of intensity, the absence of chaos can feel strange, even suspicious. You might ask, where did the spark go? But the truth is, the spark has simply integrated. It's no longer external fireworks, it's internal glow. Our body rests, our intuition stabilizes, our energy expands into creativity again. That's how you know you have arrived, where peace no longer feels boring, it feels like home. So, what is our divine masculine's experience of this sacred normalcy? For the divine masculine, for our divine masculine, this phase is a relief. He no longer feels like he's falling at love. The weight of shame lifts, replaced by gratitude and quiet devotion. Our divine masculine starts expressing love through, not through words, but through reliability, like fixing things in the house, like making sure, you know, things are organized, the kind of love you can plan your day around, like just helping each other, like bringing water to each other, during a meeting, or little things, right? Like his presence becomes his apology. You see, that's why he doesn't need to apologize. I never once wanted my DM to apologize, even when we were in separate. Never, because now he's showing me through presence. His consistency, our divine masculine's consistency becomes his vow, and that's when the healed, that's what a healed divine masculine looks like. No grand gestures, but daily honoring. So how do you look at union as a conscious ecosystem? When union stabilizes, our energy fields merges into an ecosystem. You will notice that's the shared collective field. We notice shared dreams, joint intuition, so that's the combined energy field that I'm talking about, right? When union stabilizes, our energy fields merges into the ecosystem. First is our third energy, and then ultimately with the collective itself. So initially we notice shared dreams, joint intuition, aligned synchronicities, not as magical surprises anymore, but as normal. Like we both maybe, he might be at his office, I might be at mine, and we will be seeing 11:11. And later, when we're having dinner, we'll be like, hey, I saw 11:11. It doesn't mean we stop evolving individually. It means evolution now happens together. We hold space for each other's growth without fear of losing connection. That's what spiritual maturity feels like in real time. You see, the human and the divine in harmony, sacred normalcy. I want to do a discourse on this, really, like a much deeper one. I definitely will. Sacred normalcy is the melting point between divinity and humanity. It's when the higher self and the everyday self coexist peacefully. We don't need to ascend out of life anymore because heaven moved in. We brought the template into the kitchen, the sacred into the ordinary, waking up to each other, just hugging each other to sleep, just feeling each other's breath, these are little things which are so powerful, so intimate. That's what the journey was always about. It's in the quiet hugs, not in the grand gestures. The divine never wanted perfection, it wanted embodiment. That's why when mission becomes love's expression, when we reach this level of coherence, the relationship becomes the base camp of mission. We will feel drawn to create together. Anything, building, co creating, starting, complementing each other's work, anything, all right? Our union field starts transmitting frequency into the world simply by existing. That's why there's no grand mission. You always ask me, what's the grand mission? No grand mission, just existing. Instability, that's the good thing we can do for the collective, because the more we anchor stability and peace, the more we help others around us. So this is how monadic twin flames, we serve the planet, we serve the galaxies, we serve the multiverses, not through saving others, but by modeling stable love. We become living proof that high frequency connection can coexist with grounded human life. That's how you shift the collective template. After all the initiations, you finally circle back to innocence. Not naive innocence, conscious innocence. It's the purity that comes after knowing the shadow and choosing love anyway. We laugh more, we forgive faster, we stop needing to get the lesson because we are the lesson. The love we once chased now lives inside us and outside. That's the full circle of divine union. Powerful, isn't it? So, if you're wondering what it feels like when it's finally done, it's not a fireworks display, it's a quiet sunrise. It's about appreciating the little things in life, it's about going to the beach together, holding hands, and watching the sunset or the sunrise, or getting up early in the morning and going hiking together. It's the two of us breathing the same air, building a life, and no longer mistaking peace for emptiness. So, sacred normalcy is the final frontier and also the true beginning, because after that, it's infinity forever. Where love stops being a teacher and becomes a companion, where energy stabilizes into ease, where we finally realize we were never waiting for our divine masculine to return, we were waiting for both of you to be ready to stay. All right. So, the last part, beyond union, like what happens when love becomes service to the collective field. So, we're going to explore the final part of our discourse, when love stops being just personal but becomes planetary coherence. The shift from personal to planetary. In the early journey, we focus on him. We focus on our DM, his choices, his silence, his healing, his return. Then it shifts to us, our growth, our triggers, our sovereignty, right? Our sovereignty, right? But once the union field stabilizes, the focus expands again into service. We begin to release our connection. We begin to release the labels. We realize our connection was never about romance. There is romance, a lot of romance every day. But it's also about demonstrating what consciousness looks like when polarity becomes partnership. Our love becomes an energetic lighthouse, a living transmission that teaches through frequency, not words. That's the collective field connection. The moment the third energy stabilizes, it doesn't just support us both. It starts broadcasting. Our shared coherence sends harmonic signals into the collective field. Every time we stay peaceful through conflict, hundreds of other magnetic twin flames feel that stabilizing wave consciously. So we become a node of planetary regulation. That's what grid work can also mean. Not always travel, not always doing grid work, but stability through embodiment as well. Our union field synchronizes with Mother Gaia's nervous system. That's how the personal becomes planetary and galactic. So, the twin flame template is the microsm. Micro is the micro what? All right. So let me put it this way, all right? The twin flame template is the micro aspect of human consciousness. Whatever you heal between the masculine and feminine within your relationship, the same code updates across the collective grid. That's the macro aspect, right? When we transmute control into collaboration, when we dissolve patriarchy at the energetic root, when we reprogram how men relate to emotion, when we turn shame into safety, when we embody receptive strength, this is when we teach fellow women that surrender is not weakness. Every choice we make in private union ripples through the field as inspiration, new permission for others to love better. So many twin flames ask me this: what is our mission? Where is our mission? It's simple but profound. Live the frequency. Some pairs we will create healing practices, movements, artwork, museum. Some we will raise conscious children. We will do both. We'll start a museum and also raise conscious children. We will do this. We will teach. We'll write a book. Maybe we'll just do great work by just loving each other. Right? So that's why we can do everything. We can raise conscious children, or we can end, or we can anchor new relationship templates, everything. Some will simply hold a coherent household that radiates peace into the community. So mission isn't always a stage. So that's why performance, get away. But a lot of you watching this video are way past the performance stage anyway. Sometimes it's a frequency. The field doesn't need our performance. It's our presence. So, our union is sacred, but it needs maintenance. Spiritual, emotional, and physical. So always keep our boundaries clear, reset when the field feels overextended. Don't overgive to the collective at the expense of personal intimacy. Like sometimes people are just like asking like private questions. Sometimes you don't have to in any relationship. We can choose what we want to share, right? But of course, you see, people who ask, they don't ask because they want to be inspired. Because those who want to be inspired often, they get inspired by what you share. But some, they just want to poke and they just want to create noise on your field. They just want to create chaos. That's why Don't overgive to the collective at the expense of personal intimacy. Practice regular energetic hygiene. We are now both guardians of a frequency, so the more we respect the sacredness, the longer we can transmit. So our divine masculine's role in collective stabilization, as our divine masculine further heals shame and embodies presence, his energy becomes a stabilizer for the global grid, galactic grid. He carries grounded frequency, the architect energy that holds the structure. Our divine masculine teaches the collective that masculinity is not dominance but guardianship, that protection can coexist with softness. Every time our divine masculine chooses integrity over ego, the collective template upgrades. So, what is our role in collective stabilization? We lead through resonance. Our coherence transmits compassion, creativity, and intuition into the field. We remind the collective that receptivity is power, peace is leadership. Our emotional mastery becomes the earth's emotional mastery. So we just don't nurture, we rewire the planetary heart grid. Together, our love becomes the magnetic bridge, a living synthesis of everything, heaven on earth. All right. So, when love itself becomes collective medicine, once the union field anchors, we will notice that others around us start to regulate faster. So, truly, you will like you would start to notice like things are much lighter. That's not coincidence, that's what's going on. Our love emits a subtle electromagnetic coherence that calms nervous system and dissolves conflict. So we don't need to preach. Our present teaches. We live by example. We live through example. That's what it means to serve the divine union field. We become walking medicine. So service doesn't mean self-sacrifice, guys. If we overextend, the field destabilizes. The collective doesn't need your exhaustion, it needs your embodiment. So pace yourself. Alternate between giving and grounding. This keeps third energy healthy, balance between output and renewal. So the legacy of our love is not the story of two people who found each other. It's a template we leave behind for how love can exist on earth without distortion. So we are living proof that sacred partnership is possible, not as fantasy but as frequency. And the more we live it, the more we normalize it. That's the quiet revolution of our time. Evolve love embodied daily. So, beyond union, you will still have growth cycles, flares, human days, but they no longer threaten the connection. The field has matured enough to self heal. This is when love becomes self correcting, alright? It adjusts, regenerates, and renews, just like consciousness. We have stopped chasing perfection and start circulating wholeness. That's what we become. So, as we complete this discourse, as we wrap this, remember that the purpose of reunion was never to find our divine masculine and force him into union. It was to awaken the field strong enough to heal humanity through coherence. So we no longer, so at this point, you will realize that we are no longer just lovers. We are stabilizers of reality. Our relationship is a prayer in motion. When we laugh, the grid brightens. When we rest, the planet exhales. When we choose truth over fear, the collective remembers everything. That's the sacred responsibility of monadic twin flame union, guys. So love becomes the infrastructure of evolution. So this concludes my discourse. So let me see. Oops. The comments. So I'm going to open the floor to questions, and then I am going to start with the channeling. All right, so if you guys are drawn to work one-on-one with me, you can book your first time twin flame psychic guidance session below for clarity on how your personal mission is unfolding, right? And I would highly recommend the 10-10 galactic portal healing and activations. Again, limited spots because of the timings. I'm doing it on the day itself at this moment, so get in fast so that you can get the time slot of your choice. All right, with that, All right, I see a whole conversation going here. Oh, Monica, that doesn't matter. You can ask me the question here. So, Alex's question is, Hi, V, wondering if this has anything to do with not being able to feel him in the energy, along with chakras seemingly offline, that you can usually feel them. It's been odd, or is it just perhaps this weird energy this week? Thought it might tie into the way. All right, so this is what you call the soul shock phase. Sometimes you may not feel his energies fully, so just consider that like an upgrade and integration, and before you know it, you'll be feeling his energies again. Alex, Monica says boundaries like silk, soft and strong. So beautiful. It is. So yeah. All right. All right, so with that, I'm going to start the channeling. So let me look at the. All right, we have got Manuela, Irene, Diana, Jordan, Nimith, Nicole, Monica, and Karishma. All right, let me start with Manuela. All right, Manuela's question is, Hi, Vaish, I sent you a tip for a channel reading on upcoming life. Her question is if she can ask about a soulmate who's still going to work on the platform, which I feel, Manuela, it's very beautiful. It's like, in fact, shifting. So he is still involved with the platform, but however, his views are shifting because you are both inspiring each other in the purest, most beautiful way. And lately, I feel like his energies are much lighter around you. I feel like you're both like truly recognizing, that how you're soulmates to one another and how you go way back beyond this lifetime. So there's this calm and peace and beauty about this connection at this point. So he's definitely going to, when he meets you, he's going to tell you everything about the platform, and you're going to have a really good time just talking about, what was really going on with the platform. In fact, that is going to be a huge part of your conversation, and that's going to build into intimacy and more. So I would just say that, you know, eventually after meeting you, he will not work on that money earning platform anymore. And it definitely, things are shifting, things are changing, and they are meant to, truly bring your connection to the next level. I see a lot of romanticism in the air, very beautiful, very powerful. So with that, I hope you have enjoyed this channeling, Manuela. And next up, I have got Irene. So Irene's question is that she's finally feeling better. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that, Irene. I was really praying for that. So you have, oh dear, you've got a bad ear infection and can barely hear, wondering if that's called way of. Oh dear, I'm so sorry that you have a ear infection. I'm sending you all the prayers and blessings for a speedy recovery. Um, so it's not that, but your body is telling you that it's time to take rest. So in a way, you are naturally going into introspection as a result of that. So you've also been taking care of a sick chicken at work. Oh wow! You feel like you're both healing each other, and you want to write a kid's book. Absolutely. You see, Irene, you got your mission, you got your project. You should so write a kid's book about your connection with this chicken. It's going to be really lovely. You know, children are going to truly enjoy that book that you're going to write. So it's definitely something that is in your mission, and I can truly feel like we are talking about it for weeks. Your energies are stabilizing, shifting. So now just keep it open to miracles, Erin. It's all going to flow in. So the messages that I'm getting from your guides are go with the flow. You'll recover much quicker, and just utilize the third energy, start building, start writing, and you've got the blessings of your guides. You've got the blessings of the universe always. With that, I hope you've enjoyed this channeling. Next up, I've got beautiful Diana. Wow. Diana is saying she's in a remote community home. Haven't heard from your DM in 5 weeks and you're still smiling and unbothered. I'm loving this goddess energy. Beautiful, truly. And also, you may have quietly soft launched your photography and videography business, which is picking up. Excellent, Diana. I'm so proud of you. You know, the last time we spoke, oh my God, I'm so proud of you. I have no words. I'm so glad you're fully into the photography and videography business now, and the third energy is in full force, activating, fully powerful, in full grace. Truly very beautiful, Diana. So really, like right now, what I'm picking up from your divine masculine's feel is that he is in panic mode. In a way, he admires your strength, your freedom, your sovereignty. He admires all of that, but at the same time he is worried what is going to happen. So that is going to be what is going to like move him towards rebuilding with you. So it's going to be amazing, because expect the unexpected. Miracles are on the way for you, Diana. It's going to be amazing, like truly in every way. It's going to be powerful, it's going to be beautiful, and it's going to be sacred. All right, with that, I hope you have enjoyed this channeling. All right, so next up I've got Jordan. Jordan's question is, what's coming through from your DM, Joe? You got into an argument a week ago and you set firm boundaries he didn't like. All right, your DM was very triggered by a lot of things that he hasn't expressed, and so in a way he's afraid of losing you, and that's why he was kind of projecting on you. So you setting boundaries is the total game changer. So in a way he's proud of you for setting those boundaries. His 3D self is affected, but it's recalibrating. So now just leave it to the universe. Things are going to turn around, Jordan, like truly. So he might not like it now, but in a few weeks time there's going to be deep transformation, Jordan. So it's all falling in place and it's getting together fine. With that, I hope you have enjoyed this channeling. Next up I have got Nimit. Nimit's question is, hey Vash, so good to see you. Likewise, Nimit. Oh, this is your birthday week. I remember doing this last year too. So happy birthday. Oh, and your birthday is on the 10/10 portal. Again, I remember doing a reading for you live last time. This time last year. So, you want me to share something from your records about messages that I pick up? So what is in store for you, and should you move on with the soulmate connection? As always, thankful for everything throughout your journey state. Oh, thank you, Nimit. Blessings to you always as well. This week is going to be monumental to you. Your divine feminine is definitely awakening deeper, profoundly, especially now that you're considering a soulmate. The tables are turning, the tables are shifting, and in a way, I wouldn't say move on with a soulmate, but the thought of a soulmate in itself is affecting your divine feminine in energetic ways. So from what I'm picking up from the records is you had been in this point about 20 lifetimes ago, where you were in almost a pre-union stage. And the thing is, you chose a soulmate at that point and you couldn't get together. So the same choice is appearing again. So what are you going to do? So that's totally in your hands. So the universe wants you to know that everything you're doing is in perfect alignment. Everything is meant to happen as it's meant to happen. This lifetime has been crucial for both you and your twin flame, because there's so much transformation that has been happening like never before. So this birthday week is going to be monumental for you spiritually, energetically, physically, psychically, in every way possible. So there's so much in store for you, but the most important thing is sovereignty, your choice, your freedom. What are you going to choose? Because you're always in union with your twin flame, irregardless. So what are the choices you're going to make on earth? That is going to be what's going to happen. So the next couple of weeks, as your birthday comes in a couple of days, things are going to shift massively. You're going to enter a golden era of freedom, stability, and miracles can happen. Your divine feminine may walk right back in. With that, I hope you have enjoyed this channeling. Next up, I have got Nicole. Long time no see, my beautiful friend. How have you been, Nicole? Oh, Nicole says, thank you so much for this beautiful class. So grateful for your all. So grateful for you, attending this life as always. So you just want a general channeling? Sending love and light to you. Oh, sending love and light to you always, Nicole. So general channeling, what is going on? So when I tap into your energies, I see a lot of rhythm, a lot of stability, a lot of connection. You are really, really, really connected to the grids. You're connected in so many ways. I feel like you are really, really, shaking earth, building projects. You are really being such a powerful force at the moment, and it will keep continuing to build. So keep learning, keep expanding, keep growing, and more beautiful opportunities are going to come before you. As far as your twin flame journey is concerned, miracles are on the way for you in every way possible. You're going to see changes. At this moment, you may feel like the changes may be slow, but it's going to pick up. Especially mid-October, you're going to see a lot of changes, a lot of shifts. They're just going to come in, and you're going to see a transformation like never before, Nicole. And your guides want you to know that you are just on a roll, and keep being on a roll. Everything, health, wealth, everything is going to prosper in your life. So keep being yourself, keep being your authentic self, which you are always, and keep shining your light, keep sending your magic, keep doing what you're already doing. With that, Nicole, I hope you have enjoyed this channeling. Next up, I have got Karishma. So Karishma is saying, hi, so glad to finally join this live, and you're hoping to get a quick check in on the energies and how your divine masculine is currently going through, if there are any thoughts regarding the relationship. So, Karishma, firstly, what's going on with your combined energy fields is truly marvelous. I see a lot of yellow, and I see a lot of blue, and I see a lot of green. So this is setting a foundation for authentic communication that's going to keep on building and coming through. So when you actually see your divine masculine the next time in person, the energies are going to be totally different. It's going to be so exciting. There's going to be balance, there's going to be integration, it's going to be heartfelt communication. The words are going to come from the core, from the heart. So the energies are just building. The fields are preparing. The third energy is very, very, very active at the moment. So your divine masculine is actually going on the upward trajectory of remembering soul, remembering. He's remembering a lot more in the last few weeks than his entire lifetime. He's getting flash forwards of the lifetimes that you're going to spend together. In a way, it's like you're both communicating so much in the 5D and multidimensionally. So in a way, it's just weaving in melody and rhythm like never before. So much joy, so much hope, so much integration integration, and the past is also clearing up. You're softening around each other. I feel like there's so much a divine masculine wants to say. A big part of him wants to just give you a big hug and tell you that he has surrendered, and you are all he wants to be with. So the romanticism level is very, very high at the moment. So the 5D visitations will be more heightened in the upcoming weeks. You just start to feel more flow, you will start to feel more rhythm, you will start to feel more connection. You're also being guided deeply by your higher self and your inner teacher, Karishma. So it's like everything is flowing in a divine way. There is some purging, undeniably there is some purging going on, but there is more romanticism in the air because of what your divine masculine is currently going through. So his thoughts, he wants you to know that he is seeing you in a new light, and he's so happy. All this while there were so many layers of you he didn't see, and now through soul remembrance and the downloads he's receiving, the way he admires you, the way he sees you, it's shifting to wonderment. He's so proud of you. He's in awe of the magic you create for the world. All right, with that, Karishma, I hope you have enjoyed this channeling. And then perfect. All right. So, all right, Monica, you've sent a message, right? Let me have a look. All right, perfect. So, Monica, I got your question. So, Monica says, "Hi, Vash, I found you. So you've spoken to Clint a few times recently. You feel you both have really shifted, and he's finally ready to surrender now. However, he's still living with his karmic partner. It's been hard for you to let go of that and not get stuck in the mind. But the shift you feel is huge, even though nothing on the surface has changed. But you're stepping back again and pray that you won't keep looping. You don't know, so you don't know what question. So you don't really have a question, but you're hoping I could support you with where you are at the moment and where your divine masculine is, and is it enough to sit on your light? I realized I was only taught to react. Oh, so really you have the answers right there. So from being taught to react, now you're moving into responding, Monica, in the most beautiful, beautiful way. You see, even in the way you have wrote your question to me, your message to me, it shows surrender, and your DM is on the same page as you. He's actually mirroring that, because he is showing you that his energies are shifting, and that is being mirrored back to each other. So energetically, it's a testing period for both of you. What's going on is that energy calibration at its peak right now. You're both like in the moment of truly recognizing each other beyond the field, connecting more and more in the third energy. So in a way, there's so much beauty and growth that's happening in the backdrop, but what's before you, like the karmic, is what's shaking up the field. But in a way, that too is going to shift. Like a solution is being born as we speak. I feel like your guides want you to know that the situation is changing. Most importantly, the recognizing between you and your DM is at an all-time high. Your combined energy fields also look very promising. In fact, there's so much purple and pink there, indicating higher level awareness you're both sharing. So you're meeting more and more in the 5D, 7D, 8D. You're trying to do galactic service together in the astral. So there's a lot of movement with that regard, but at the same time, the 3D self is collapsing, recalibrating, and balancing. You're both balancing your combined energies and also your nervous system. So that's why, recognizing that you've shifted is a core turning point in your life. And because you're ready to surrender, it is actually set the path for you to surrender. And in that surrender, the knowledge is coming in. The visitations between the both of you multidimensionally is increasing as well. All the potential is coming in. So again, it's mind and soul. So your mind is projecting all of these fears as a final way to loop you. So in that way, recognition of it in itself is going to help you get out of the loop and surrender to the unconditional multidimensionality of this connection itself. So that's what's happening right now, because you're willing to take that, you're courageous enough to get to the next stage. Everything is coming in. So just keep doing what you're doing, keep surrendering. The next time your mind projects such thoughts about the karmic and affects you, watch, go into the state of watchfulness, allow it to come, because there's nothing you can't stop your mind from projecting what it wants to project. But slowly you can train your mind to be assistant instead of trying to, you know, move you down the fear zone, because the mind itself wants to exist, right? So it would keep trying to be in that mode. So that's what's going on now with your divine masculine. He's struggling a lot, he's suffering a lot, because the karmic partner takes a lot of energy, drains him out raw and dry. So he is not able to even live. He lives on bare energetic minimum. So there's a lot of struggle there. But overall, God is with you, Monica. You just have to keep doing what you can, keep going in the flow, taking one day at a time, taking one moment at a time, and things will flow in. All right, with that, I hope you have enjoyed this channeling. And all right, I think I've covered everybody's requests. And let me have a look, and then we can wrap up for the day. Perfect. All right. So Nimit says, thanks so much, Vash. It's been SPGs. Yes, I remember her birthday is a day before. So you've been conflicted as you have been in separation for 3.5 years. But you know what? This time round, there's going to be a deep change, Nimit. So don't worry. Karishma says, yay. You're most welcome, Nicole. All right, guys. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed this discourse. I'll see you all again next week. Saturday night. And guys, the 1010 portal is coming up on Friday the 10th. So again, I have limited spots due to the time slots. If you come and book in early, you can get the time slot of your choice. So again, book in fast, and this galactic 1010 galactic portal is going to be a very, very powerful one. And this full moon, the supermoon that's coming in 2 days, is also very, very powerful. So with that, I'll see you all again next week. Do check out my website. I have there are a few new healings that I have introduced. The mirror break, radiance, key activation, collapsing is illusion, restoring your divine feminine magnetism healing. I highly recommend that. The emerald heart and sapphire mind synchronization, especially if you want that balance, it's also an amazing healing. The chakra mirror activation, the heart chord recalibration, divine masculine fragment healing, and of course, guys, if you want something more deeper, I'll recommend the soul realignment, blocks and restrictions clearing. All right, with that, I'll see you all again next week. Love you all. Take care, and bye-bye.